Alright, as a follow-up to my video on the Four Lords, I wanted to share this additional story related to the subject. There was another auspice besides the Four Lords, whose soul you set free by facing them in a battle, but you may not have realized it. So throughout the last video I was talking about the effects that an excess of Aramitama can have on the soul of an auspice. However, there is another way in which their soul can become unbalanced, and that is by having too much Nigimitama. The Nigimitama, as described to us by Genbu, is the aspect of an auspice's soul that controls their boundless calm. An auspice whose soul becomes split from having too much Nigimitama often ends up turning into a benevolent guardian, serving to protect people from malicious entities. This is what happened to Kyuubi of the Nine Tails, otherwise known as Tamamo Gozen, or even more simply as the Nine-Tailed Fox. She is a powerful auspice, unrivaled by even fellow foxes who have undergone the change. She appears in several legends, but the most popular is the tale of Tamamo Gozen and Lord Shoen of Doma. Long, long ago, while making her way to the One River for refreshment, Tamamo stumbled upon a gravely wounded samurai. Taking pity on the youth, she transformed herself into a maiden and, snatching him from the jaws of death, carried him to her shrine deep in the mountains. As fate would have it, the young samurai was none other than Shoen, younger brother to Doma's ruler, Saiyan, and leader of the People's Rebellion. Shoen was immensely grateful for Tamamo's ministrations, but his thoughts were always with his comrades and his people, and he yearned to return to the battlefield to aid them. For her part, Tamamo was deeply moved by his idealism and compassion, and soon fell in love. When it came time for the fully healed Shoen to leave her, she begged that she be allowed to accompany him. However, still believing her to be a young lady, he refused to entertain the thought. Undeterred, Tamamo at last revealed her true form. "My lord," she said, "I am no fragile maiden. Indeed, I think you shall find my strength a boon in the days to come." Thus did Tamamo Gozen join Lord Shoen's cause, granting him the power to depose his brother at last and free his people from tyrannical rule. Upon taking the throne, Shoen spared no expense in rebuilding Tamamo's mountain shrine and instilled in his children and grandchildren a reverence for her that would last long after he had passed on. Tamamo herself swore to protect Yangsha evermore. When the Garleans invaded 25 years ago, Tamamo Gozen appeared in Yangsha as a guardian figure to defend this land, seeing the Garleans as a threat. A clash of Magitech versus magic ensued, as the mighty Tamamo tore down entire armies and knocked their airships right from the sky, a conflict resembling, albeit perhaps on a smaller scale, the Battle of Silver-Tier Skies. In the end though, the might of the Empire was too much for her to bear, and they managed to crush the mighty beast, wounding her badly and forcing her to retreat, leaving behind only rumors of the legendary Tamamo Gozen appearing that day. Dazed and confused, Tamamo would begin wandering around Yangsha in her human form, with the beast now lying dormant inside her. 25 years pass and the warrior flight arrives at the Raisen Temple. An auspice called Kudagitsune asks for their help in finding Tamamo Gozen, as she is very important to her. Perhaps he was a pupil of hers, or just a dear comrade, or something more. The warrior flight complies and goes searching for her in Yangsha. They manage to find her, but so did a code of priests that are interested in using her for their rituals. They fend off the attackers alongside Tamamo, who is trying her best to defend herself in her fragile human form. But it's a hopeless effort, and during the encounter she lets the beast within her take over, easily taking down the assailants, as mere man is no match for an auspice, let alone one this powerful. After the encounter, she is able to transform back, but only momentarily. After you chase her down, she is once again confronted by the priests, and they force her hand. She lets the Aremitama take over her and obliterates the priests. This time, there is no turning back, as she has let the Aremitama fully consume her. Now it's up to the warrior of light for one last time to save the soul of an auspice by quelling her rage before it's too late and she destroys all of Yanxia, the land she swore to protect. The warrior of light manages to defeat her and she drops down unconscious in her human form. Two small foxes appear and escort her to safety. The warrior of light returns to Raizen Temple and lets Kuragitsune know that she is safe. Kuragitsune then decides the best course of action is for him to remain at the temple, waiting to see if she will return one day. That concludes the story of Tamamo Gozen. I hope you liked this little follow-up video as well as the Four Lords one. I got this idea to create these types of videos because I wanted to share some stories that aren't perhaps that much covered within the FF14 community. Since it's always nice to have a recap of the events that unfolded, especially for the ones that went through the content with gaps in between, having to wait for patches. Having it all in one video is just a convenient way to revisit the story, I think. But yeah, let me know what you thought of this format for a video. Was it smooth or was it cringe? Did I not go over enough details or did I ramble on for too long? I have a few ideas on which other stories I wish to cover next, but if there is one that interests you in particular, you can always hit me up in the comment section, as I do love reading and replying to anyone wanting to leave a comment. Lastly, if you are enjoying the content on this channel, subscribing is always an easy way to stick around. Besides that, I don't have much to add, so I wish you guys a nice day.